everyone, Gina here. And today I wanted to demonstrate an easy practice that you can do every single day if you don't have a lot of time. This is what I would recommend for you. Okay, so let's get started. We're gonna come right into downward facing dog. Maybe finding a plank first, fingers spread nice and wide, and then you can go ahead, bend through those knees, send those hips back. And we're really going to allow ourselves to take our time in our downward facing dog. So you can rock a little bit from side to side. You can shift onto each heel, kind of swaying the hips, walking your dog. Fingers spread nice and wide on the mat. You can press away from the mat with each hand, getting underneath each shoulder blade. We do downward facing dog so much in a regular vinyasa practice because it is such an efficient yoga pose. My teacher from when I learned how to teach yoga has said, if you only have one yoga pose that you can do every day, it's downward facing dog. All right, so from our downward facing dog, let's go ahead and walk our feet in between the hands. We're going to find a forward fold at the front of the mat. If you have any low back tension, you can have the feet a little bit wider. It's always a little bit kinder for the low back. And you do have some options here for the arms. You can let them hang. You can grab opposite elbows or interlace the hands to the back of the head or at the low back. Really whatever you find is going to help you release your back, right? Really allowing tension to melt away. You can shake your head a little bit, sway the hips. So it's the same idea as when you were in that downward facing dog, but we're just in a different shape. On our next inhalation, go ahead and find a flat back. You can roll your shoulders back, maybe bring your hands to your shins or thighs. As you exhale, folding forward, head heavy, arms heavy. From here, we are going to bring our hands to the mat. If you have blocks, you can also use your blocks. We're going to step that left foot back, finding a low lunge. And we're just going to take a moment here in our low lunge. You can rock a little bit from side to side. You can always drop that back knee down, untuck the toes. So again, short practice, we're not doing a lot. So with the poses that we are doing, stay a while, linger, breathe into them. And then from our low lunge, begin to tuck those toes under. You can keep that back knee down on the mat. We're going to walk our hands back, coming into a half Hanuman stretch, or half split, or half monkey. Again, if you have blocks, you can bring those blocks underneath the hands. And we're just going to fold over that right leg, really allowing yourselves to get into that right hamstring. Let's take 3 breaths here. Inhale. Exhale, 1. Inhale. Exhale for 2. One more breath here. On your exhalation, go ahead, walk your hands back into that low lunge, lifting that back knee up off the mat. We're going to actually take that left foot to meet the right, so we're back in our forward fold. Go ahead, find your flat back, inhale. Exhale, folding again. We're going to step that right foot back now. So same as before, little bit of movement here. You can rock a little bit forwards and backwards. Drop that back knee down if you'd like to. Untuck the toes, sinking in. Breathing into the stretch. And then once again, we'll tuck our toes, walk the hands back, straightening through that left leg, folding over it. Nice deep breath in. Exhale, 1. Inhale. Exhale for 2. One more breath. And exhale. Go ahead, walk the hands back. We're going to refine that low lunge. And now this time, instead of stepping forward into a forward fold, we're going to step it back into our downward facing dog. You can pedal out through the knees a bit. And of course, I'm not showing any sort of vinyasa here, but if you did want to add a flow, you can absolutely add a flow. We are going to come now into table. And then from table, we're just going to scoot your hips to one side and swing those legs around. Let's find a wide-legged straddle here. You can have the feet nice and flexed. And just taking a moment, maybe a little bit of movement from side to side. On your next inhalation, reach both arms up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, I want you to thread that right arm underneath the left. And we're just going to allow that left arm to stretch over that right leg. We're going to take 3 breaths here. Inhale. Exhale, 1. You can look underneath that left arm. Exhale, 2. One more breath. And exhale. Go ahead, rise back up, both arms reaching up towards the ceiling. Let's turn to face that right leg. On your next exhalation, fold over it. Any amount. Deep breath in. Exhale, 1. Inhale. Exhale for 2. Last breath here. And exhale. Go ahead, rise back up. We're now going to take that right arm, left arm, thread it under. Right arm reaches over, stretching over onto that left side. Inhale. Exhale, 1. Getting into our obliques. Exhale for 2. One more breath. On your exhalation, go ahead, rise back up. Arms reach back up towards the ceiling. Turn to face that left leg. Inhale. As you exhale, fold forward. Deep breath in. Exhale, 1. Inhale. Exhale for 2. One more breath here. On your exhalation, coming back up through center. And then we're going to take those hands forward, coming into a wide-legged forward fold. Deep breath in. Exhale, 1. Inhale. Exhale for 2. Last breath. And exhale. All right, go ahead, rising back up. We are now going to bring our attention over to the right side. We're going to start to align ourselves into a pigeon. So try to get that right shin as parallel as you can to the front or to the back of your mat, because now we're at the back of our mat. We're going to start to walk the hands forward. If you need any cushion for underneath that right hip, you can place something there. And then we'll just allow the front of our body to relax. Now I do encourage you to stay here for about a minute if you can. If you're doing this on your own, I like to count 20 breaths and really trying to relax with every exhalation that you take. Once you've completed those 20 breaths, we are going to start to rise back up. And we're just going to bring it over to the front of the mat, aligning that left leg, bring that right leg back. And lowering yourself down. Once again, you can start to rise back up. This time we'll take that right leg around and go ahead and lower yourself down onto the mat. You can bring your knees in towards your chest, maybe a little bit of rocking and rolling from side to side. And then finding a spinal twist, we can drop those knees over to the right, scooching your hips to the left, head turns to the left as well. Nice deep breaths here in your twist. And then from here, scooching those hips to the right side, knees are going to drop over to the left. We open our chest over to the left. Breathing here. Now as you come back to center, if you have time, you can do an inversion, like legs up the wall if you're near a wall. You should definitely have time for coming into a shavasana or a meditation. So personally, I like to use my shavasana when I have my personal practice to meditate, and I like to meditate on my back. So we're not going to do the entire meditation here. We are going to end our practice in our shavasana. But again, when this video ends, I do encourage you to set a timer and have at least 10 minutes to focus on your breath and let everything go. I thank you all so much for joining me in your practice.